Coming up,
it's a memorial to the Fort Lauderdale firefighters that have passed away over the years.
in honor of 9/11, we visited the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum. Hang around for vintage fire trucks, fire safety tips, and more. Tacos aren't exactly the first entree you think of when it comes to eating healthy. But when they're made like this, you'll think otherwise. We'll see some 9/11 antiques and find out what firefighters do to look after their own health. All that and more is today on SoFlo Health. Hello and welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. I'm at the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum because today we want to pay respect and remember 9/11, and that has a lot to do with our wonderful firefighters all over America, but we've got a beautiful museum right here in Fort Lauderdale that we get to experience today. We're about to meet Jim, but I wanted to show you a couple of things first. Firefighters are always in such great shape. Well, no wonder. They're carrying around 60 pounds of equipment, and this is just a small look of what that could be like. All right, I'm gonna go put this stuff away and stop playing dress up and find Jim. Jim, thanks for spending time with us.
We're glad to have you here.
Oh, of course. And tell me, what is this museum all about?
Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum fills several functions. Number one, we preserve the beautiful architecture of the building. We also honor and remember the history of service of the Fort Lauderdale Fire Department for over 100 years. And the third function is that we train young people in fire safety to try to save lives and prevent accidents.
And tell me about the architecture. It looks like a home in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yes, it was designed to look that way and to blend in with the neighborhood. Well, the city was demolished by a terrible hurricane in 1926. The city wanted to make a statement that the city was going to come back, and so they hired a famous architect to design a very special fire station just to make a statement that the city was coming back.
Let's keep walking this way.
Okay.
Jim, this looks like a memorial, is it?
It is, that's right. It's a memorial to the Fort Lauderdale firefighters that have passed away over the years. Firefighters work together for 24-hour shifts or longer, and they develop a bond often called a brotherhood. And so when a family member in the fire service passes away in Fort Lauderdale, they're remembered here. And so this is all of the fellows that have served and gals that have served the Fort Lauderdale Fire Department over the years who have passed away. Here are two fellows that unfortunately were killed in the line of duty and receive special recognition in the memorial.
Yes, and on a day like today, which is 9/11, we are remembering all of the wonderful people that have given their lives, their time, their service, and like yourself, people that have served their whole career helping us. So we appreciate what you do, and we appreciate what all these men and women have done. And if no one else is ever added to this list, we'll be fine.
That's for sure.
So let's head inside because you had something you'd mentioned to me before we started rolling. You said, I've got the most important exhibit in this museum.
Yes, and I'd love to show it to you.
Let's go look. Before we head into the firehouse with Jim, let's take a break with a unique kind of taco. You know, every time I have tacos, I feel pretty blessed. That's why I'm at La Santa Taqueria, and La Santa means the saints, or it means holy. They also said that La Santa is kind of like you're a player, you're messing around, yeah, you're being La Santa. Let's go eat some tacos and find out how authentic Mexican tacos can be healthy.
La Santa Taqueria is a very traditional and authentic taqueria inspired from Mexico City. The idea of La Santa is to bring all the flavors exactly the way that we eat with all these kind of ingredients and taste.
And is that where you're from?
Yes, I'm from Mexico City, raised and born, and now I'm here
yes.
showing.
Well, thank you for bringing the flavors of Mexico to us. What makes a healthy taco for you?
Everybody thinks that to eat tacos, it's make you fat. Of course, if you eat like 10 tacos, 12 tacos, for sure, and you have a really bad diet.
Yeah.
But if you analyze the taco, it's like our tortilla is 100% corn, gluten-free, no GMO. The protein could be just at the grill. You know, different ways to cook, but it's not bad. We substitute the traditional taco al pastor instead of the pork.
Let me get a bite.
We use the cauliflower. We marinate it in the achiote. That's the paste that we marinate the cauliflower and then we roast it. This one has our salsa roja that is made of guajillo pepper. It's a dry chili pepper, so a lot of flavor, no spicy.
Wow.
You can feel the corn in the tortillas. Mm-hmm. So that's
and it's hearty.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could eat, I can eat 10 tacos. I don't know if I could eat 10 of these. It's so filling.
Exactly.
So much nutrients. It's absolutely delicious. And you got some guac here. Tell me about your guac.
Exactly. Fresh guac. We prep here every day. Mm-hmm. Very avocado has from Mexico. Basically traditional recipe. Fresh onion, cilantro, and serrano pepper. Fresh lime juice, and that's all ready to go.
And if people want to learn more, how can they?
We have a website, www.lasantataqueria.com. Also take our orders and visit our Instagram at La Santa Miami. So everybody's welcome.
All right. Well, Chef, thank you so much. I'm going to give you the fist bump here because I got some sauce in my hands, but I'm going to take another bite.
Enjoying.
All right.
Thank you.
Jim finally shows us the most important exhibit at the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum when SoFlo Health returns.
Focusing on you. From your team of experts at Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, South Florida's only National Cancer Institute designated cancer center.
10 years ago, Jack Edwards received a life-changing phone call.
They said, you have cancer of the prostate. You need surgery.
Jack sought a second opinion with Sylvester researcher Dr. Sanaj Poonen, who specializes in the diagnosis and treatment of prostate cancer.
Almost 1 in 7 men are at risk for prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is actually the most common cancer that guys will get in the United States.
Dr. Poonen, a urologist with the Desai Sethi Urology Institute, part of the University of Miami Health System, is studying patients with slow-growing tumors who may never need surgery.
We're getting more and more confident that these types of cancers don't need immediate treatment, whether it's surgery or radiation.
In certain cases, Dr. Poonen recommends active surveillance, which is based on a patient's pathology.
So we'll do a PSA, usually every 6 to 12 months. We'll do an MRI, often every year or two, and then we'll do biopsies.
Jack avoided surgery and its side effects with active surveillance for 5 years. Then Dr. Poonen and his team gave him the good news.
You're doing great. You don't need anything else.
Jack and his wife just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. They have a message for Dr. Poonen.
He changed the fate of my life.
This is a steel beam from the World Trade Center. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. It's 9/11, and we want to pay our respect just as the people here at Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum have. This is a steel beam in commemoration of 9/11. We want to remember and never forget. I certainly never will, and they won't either. Right here is an image of all of those firefighters lost, saving lives on that day that will live in infamy. Like I said, we'll never forget, and certainly they won't here at the museum. We have a lot of other fun information that's lighthearted and health info relating firefighters, but we want to pay our respects on 9/11. So keep watching SoFlo Health, and I'll see you after this. Here on SoFlo Health, the subject matter we cover is typically not rocket science or brain surgery, except for today, where we are talking about brain surgery and neuroscience at Baptist Hospital. We're going to meet with Dr. McDermott, and he's going to tell us about the latest advances in neuroscience and what they're doing here to possibly save your life or loved ones. Let's listen in to Dr. McDermott.
My neurosurgical practice, as it relates to tumors, focuses on meningiomas, a benign form of tumor. So where we do what we call a craniotomy, opening the skin, skull, take out the tumor, close. And another area of focus for brain tumors called radiosurgery, primarily using a device called the Lexel Gamma Knife. A meningioma is a benign tumor attached to the coverings of the brain, usually attached to the dura, the thick leather-like covering inside the skull. It's the most common brain tumor in adults over the age of 35. Well, most adult patients have 4 common symptoms of a brain tumor. That is headache, seizures, progressive focal neurologic deficit, or change in personality behavior. Every headache is not a brain tumor, doesn't mean you have a brain tumor, but headaches that are new, increasing in duration, severity, intensity, with associated nausea, potentially vomiting in the morning, those would be symptoms to be worried about. Let's say it's a meningioma, Then usually the referral is made to a surgeon. Treatment options include surgery and another form of treatment called radiosurgery, which is the use of focused high-intensity radiation, an outpatient treatment. And then the surgeon will, with the patient, review the risk-benefits of both those types of treatment and the alternative of doing nothing and simply observing with repeat interval scans. And to keep it simple, if the tumor is removed completely, the pathology is benign, other parameters on the tissue are suggestive of a low proliferative potential for the future, then we would image the patient 1 year after surgery on an annual basis, and at 5 years after surgery we would increase that interval to 18 months, 24, 36, etc. And once they reach 20 years, then we would do it once every 10 years. Well, Baptist Health has a website which they can access looking for neurosurgery. They have social media platforms. The Miami Cancer Institute also has information about brain tumors, and then on a national level, the American Brain Tumor Association has a good webpage. So it's pretty easy to get some useful information to help patients understand what the problem is.
Thank you, Dr. McDermott. It just goes to show you that although brain tumors are fairly uncommon compared to other maladies that we deal with on a regular basis, it's also important to know about them in case your loved one does experience something that could change your life. Just that little piece of information of knowing to go to your doctor or having the right questions to ask could not just save your life, but also improve the quality for the rest of your life. Here in Florida, we passed some legislature at the time. It was called the Firefighters Heart and Lung Bill, which you can see here on this little placket. And in 1987, they said, hey, we'll take good care of you because you're at higher risk for heart disease and for lung cancer, but you gotta make a deal with us. You can't be a Marlboro man anymore. You can't be smoking and being a firefighter. And firefighters said, you know what, that sounds like a pretty good trade-off. You take care of me for life if I have anything considered work-related danger, breathing in all those toxic fumes, and I'll stop smoking and breathing toxic fumes on my own time. So that's just one of the many things here at the museum that you can see. Throughout the pandemic, masks were a bit of a controversial subject. Well, they haven't been terribly controversial in firefighting, other than the fact that they didn't always work as intended. But fortunately, we've gone from a place where they were basically just filtering out dirt and other schmutz and not really giving you any clean air in return to fully filtered systems, and you're able to see kind of the evolution here as well, which I think is pretty cool. You know what else is pretty cool? How firefighters were able to get to fires before modern electronics were available. Here's Jim to show you how.
We wanted to find an exciting and interesting way to teach young people fire safety. To start, we would ask young people how people would call the fire department before the telephones. Fire alarm boxes were installed on telephone poles throughout the city. Each family had one member that was assigned as the runner. If there was an emergency, that person would go to the nearest box and pull the box. This is how it would work. They'd pull the box, and this is what would happen in the firehouses. An audible and a visual signal is received.
That's what we see here.
In this particular case, you could see it's 1 and 2 and 3. The firemen would go to their directory and find out where that box number 1, 2, 3 is. In this particular case, it's 3 blocks from here at Southwest 8th Avenue and West Los Olas Boulevard. That is the exact location where this fire occurred.
Follow us. Now we're at the most important exhibit, right?
Yes, that's right. The box number 1, 2, 3 that we just pulled was on the corner where this house stood, which is 3 blocks from here. The mother put her 2 daughters to bed, but she had failed to put fresh batteries in her smoke detectors. She went out for the evening, and while she was gone, the house caught fire. The firefighters were able to penetrate the smoke and fire and rescue the girls, and the girls were both alive when they were rescued. However, unfortunately, they both died the next day in the hospital of smoke inhalation. So this exhibit leads us into the most important exhibit of all. This is a smoke alarm with a fresh battery protecting your family's lives. This is a smoke battery with a fresh battery after saving your lives from a fire. Smoked up, but you're alive and it's okay. And this is a smoke alarm with a dead battery or no battery after your house and what your house looks like after a fire.
Here on SoFlo Health, that's very important to us. We want to make sure that you at home are also safe, that children understand, that adults understand, and follow through what's necessary to keep your home safe.
Many people use time change. When you change the clocks, change the batteries. Very simple and tremendously important.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
We invite everyone to visit our website, www.fortlauderdalephiremuseum.org, and we're also open currently on the last Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we invite people to come and visit us and learn a little more about history and about fire safety.
Great, thank you so much. You'll see more of the museum if you keep watching SoFlo Health. Stay right there. We'll hear from current firefighters on what they do to stay healthy when SoFlo Health returns. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we're continuing our time here at the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum. I'm now joined by Nathan. Nathan, thanks for being with us. Tell me, what's happening now at the museum?
Right, so we just started opening our doors. We had a grand reopening about 2 months ago, and now we are open every last Saturday of every month. We're looking to open up more often, but we need volunteers to make that happen.
If somebody is interested in being a volunteer, do you need specific people? How can they get involved?
We're open to anybody who's interested to come. Just go to the website, and you can find on the front page a volunteer spot, and you just submit the form, and we'll contact you.
Besides what we've seen here so far today, well, what's your favorite part about the museum?
Of course, the trucks are pretty awesome. But there's just a lot of really good history here. They used to use their beards to go in the, for breathing apparatus. They thought that would block the chemicals.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we've definitely taken huge evolution and upgraded our gear.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. We're glad that that's happened, to take better care of your health. If somebody's watching right now, maybe a kid or a young adult or somebody just considering becoming an EMT or firefighter, what would you tell them?
Well, I would recommend them to the Fire Explorer program the City of Fort Lauderdale has. You're welcome to come here any Saturday that we're open. We're here to educate the youth about the fire department, fire service, and careers in the fire service. So,
well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, just very grateful for you guys coming and covering our museum. Put us out there and help promote the museum.
Well, we're very grateful for what you do for a living, and not just for the fire department of Fort Lauderdale, but also for this museum. We really appreciate that you're sharing the history with us, and you're also taking care of us on a regular basis.
Great.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Recently, we were at Way Back When and learned about all sorts of pop culture memorabilia. But Joey's store also houses many important historical objects. Hey Joey, you in here somewhere?
Is that you, Hunter?
Yes, it is.
Hey, what's up, man?
Joey, it's 9/11, and we're doing a 9/11 show to honor our firefighters and everybody that was around during that time. Do you have anything to remember 9/11?
I do, actually. It's over here.
Great.
So we have two items from 9/11. We have the actual New York Times when the event happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're talking about when it was 21 years ago, and we have actually a flag from September 11, 2001 that was actually from New York that we actually brought down too. So,
how did you procure these things?
We had a collector that was in New York at the time, and he loved the store, and he actually donated to us. So we actually honored it, and we placed it on our wall, and never to forget.
Do you have anything else around here?
Well, I have some special guests outside.
Outside?
Yeah.
Am I gonna meet somebody?
Yeah, you're gonna go see Dennis.
All right, let's go find Dennis. Well, you must be Dennis, and you must be a firefighter.
I am. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, tell me, what's it like being a firefighter here in Margate?
Well, it's an awesome job. I love this job. I've been here a long time, 28 years.
When it comes to health, this being SoFlo Health, what do firefighters do to take care of their own health?
We try to eat healthy, work out on a regular basis. For me, I ride bicycles, work out in the gym as we can. We work 24 on, 48 off, and they get difficult at times, especially when you're up the entire 24 hours, which happens. it's a tough balance, but each day is different.
But that's why it's extra important to take care of your health.
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that firefighters are often exposed to much worse health conditions than the average person.
We are exposed to many different cancers. We're 60% more likely to get 21 different types of cancers in our industry. We try to remove all the debris and soot off of our gear right when we come out of a fire, because that's kind of our dangerous time, where we have the soot and debris that end up on our skin, inside of our clothing, and so forth. So we try to clean all that off before we take our gear off.
And that's good for you to know as the firefighters, but it's also good for you to know at home that being around carcinogens is just not great.
Not a good idea, no.
Dennis, before I let you go, is there anything you would like to say to people to stay safe out there?
Activate the 911 system as early as possible in an emergency. You have your pull stations, you have your cell phone. There's several ways to activate the 911 system. We can't help if we're not on the way, so get us going as soon as possible.
Well, thank you so much for what you do on 9/11 and every other day. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. And this is what a firefighter's bedroom looked like in the 20s. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franke at the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum. This building was built in 1927, and back then this was considered a luxury to even have a bedroom to be able to stay at your local firehouse. We're about to wrap up the show here, but I've got one last really cool thing to show you. Follow me. This is a fire truck from 1942. That's right, World War II era. It's not a replica. This is the real deal. And if you don't believe me, watch this. How cool is that? Oh my God, this is engine 3 from Fort Lauderdale, so it's the real deal, and it's not a replica, which is just amazing to me. You know what else is amazing? How Elena Capra is able to understand the design world like she was born for it. Elena, what do you have going on later today on SoFlo Home Project?
Hi Hunter, so today it's all about customizing your home, whether it's a newly built or newly remodeled space. Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we show you ways to make a big impact and give some unique character to your space.
Thanks a lot, Elena, and thank you so much for watching this week's episode of SoFlo Health. That's all we have, and thanks to everyone here at the Fort Lauderdale Fire and Safety Museum for sharing all of this with us on such an important day. As always, you can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health on SoFloShows.com. You can follow us using @SoFlo Health to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. Until next week, it's goodbye and good health. Next week on SoFlo Health, we have plenty to eat between healthy Mediterranean delights, different types of protein powder, and cucumbers from Professor Produce. It's all right here next week. We'll see you then.